Energy storage, structural support, and information storage. Those are the next molecules we'll be talking about. So let's start with carbohydrates. Simple sugars are the carbohydrate monomers. So these will be the building blocks for our carbohydrates. They're used in cells to store and release energy. In this diagram, we can see three different types of monomers. We have glucose, galactose, and fructose. These are all sugars. Now, often, these sugars will be arranged in a ring-like structure. So our monosaccharides, this is our name for these simple carbohydrate monomers. Mono, again, being single, and in this case, saccharide, referring to sugars. So monosaccharides are single sugar molecules, and they are often rings of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Glucose is the most common energy for all cells, and it is the product of photosynthesis. So this is what is being made during photosynthesis. Now, if we take two of these different sugar rings and we link them together, we end up with a molecule called a disaccharide. So a disaccharide are two monosaccharides covalently bonded together to now form one larger molecule, a double sugar. But if we don't just stop at two, if we end up adding more and we have 5, 10, even up to 5,000, we end up with something called a polysaccharide. So polysaccharides are long chains of monosaccharides. So looking at these three categories, we have a monosaccharide, which is a single sugar or a single ring. We have disaccharides, which are two sugars linked together. Examples of these are going to be lactose in milk, or also sucrose, the main type of sugar you put in your coffee or you use in baking. Table sugar is a disaccharide as well. And then polysaccharides. It turns out that there are three different categories of polysaccharides. Glycogen This is the type of polysaccharide which is commonly made by animals. It can be easily digested, and it is used for energy storage in an animal's body. In humans, we have a lot of glycogen stored in our liver. Our body made that glycogen and stored it there because we had sugar, excess sugar, in our bloodstream, whether it's from meals or eating snacks or whatever. If our blood sugar level gets too high, a hormone is released called insulin, and that insulin triggers our body to collect the extra sugar in our blood and store it as glycogen in our liver. So glycogen is a type of polysaccharide that is made by animals, including us as humans. Now, a very similar polysaccharide to this is starch. But starch is a polysaccharide that's made by plants. In the same way, the purpose of starch is that it can be temporary energy storage for the plant, but also for any animals that happen to eat that plant or plant material. Here in this diagram, we see a farmer in his field picking potatoes. The farmer has glycogen within his body. The potatoes have starch within them. And there's a third type of polysaccharide that plants make that is indigestible, and this is known as cellulose. The cellulose will be found in the plant cell's cell walls, or in the fibrous parts of the plant. So cellulose is our third polysaccharide. This polysaccharide is indigestible. From almost all animals. It is produced by plants and is the major component of a plant cell's cell walls. It is what helps give plants their structural integrity. And is also referred to as dietary fiber. So even though we cannot digest cellulose, it is a regular part of our diet when we consume plant materials, and it's actually required for our healthy digestive system that we consume plant materials regularly. So in a potato plant, we see both the cellulose, which will be in the leaves and stems, and even some of the other structures of the potato, but starch is the main energy molecule that will be found in the roots of the potato. Our next type of macromolecule are nucleic acids. Nucleic acids are polymers of nucleotides. So nucleotides are the single building blocks, or the monomers, for the nucleic acids. Nucleotides themselves are made up of three parts. There's a sugar, known as ribose, a phosphate group, and one of four nitrogenous bases. The nucleotides are connected into long chains to form polymers. Now, the polymers of these nucleic acids are known as DNA and RNA, and the polymers are used as information storage molecules. There are four different nitrogenous bases for each type of nucleic acid. And you can think of these four different nitrogenous bases as letters. The order of these letters are what stores the information. The order of the nitrogenous base in the DNA or RNA molecule is what stores information. Now, when we compare DNA and RNA, there are some slight differences. They have a slightly different sugar. They have a different set of which four letters are present. But when we look at these molecules within the cell, DNA functions as the blueprints for building the structures and components of the cell. It is the assembly instructions for the proteins. The DNA determines the traits of an organism. Whenever a cell divides or an organism produces offspring, the genetic material must be copied and transferred to the new cell or offspring. The genetic material that an offspring gets from its parents will determine its traits. Why are proteins and lipids so important? We'll talk about that in the next video.